Good morning, everyone. Yeah, very good morning. Shall we start the session? Today's topic is the Office Automation Executable that consider one of the three patterns of the Office solutions that is used with the automation executable that starts up and also makes a straightforward patterns by making the create instance, new instance, by using the object associated with the object application. So whatever the object application we have, whatever the data we have, so we create a new instance of it, we create a new follow-up of the object associated with the Office application. So when we consider about these patterns, these executables, so we consider each of these three patterns of the Office solutions in more detail, and this will be used by the automation executable pattern that starts up an Office application in a straight manner or in a straightforward manner, by creating a new instance of the application object associated with the object application of its application. And because of this automation executable controls the Office application, so this automation executable runs code at the startup, and anytime thereafter when executing, it controls returns to the automation executable. This will be going on executing with the control returns to the automation executables. So this will be going with the three patterns of the Office solutions, and this will be used for the automation executable pattern by using the Office applications in a very straightforward manner. And whenever there is an automation, that executable uses a new to create an Office application or the application object. The automation executable controls the lifetime of the application by holding the created application object in a variable. So whatever the application that they have, whatever the follow-up that they have, so that will be used with the Office application determines that whether it can shut down, whether it can go on with the reference count or the number of clients that we are using a application object. So these parts are known as Office automation executables that are also a part of the Office application object. And this application also, or this Office application determines also whether it can shut down by determining the reference count or the number of clients that they are using up with the application object. And in this listing, as soon as new is used to create the My Excel app variable, so Excel starts and adds one of its clients, one of its counts of clients to the object that will be referred as a count object. Now let's start the session again. So whenever we are using the automation executable, that creates a new to create the application objects. Automation executable controls that lifetime of the application. They controls the lifetime of the application by holding the created application object in a variable. So whatever the application object that we have, whatever the lifetime achievement that they have, that created that project, that application object in a variable. And the object application or the Office application also determines whether it can shut down by determining the reference count or the number of clients that are using, or whether they can determine or whether they have the reference count which is available with the number of clients that they are using with the application option. That depends on the requirement, that depends on the Office application, which determines whether it can shut down or whether it can determine the reference count or the number of clients that they are using in its application object. And this listing, as soon as a new is used to create the My Excel app variable, the Excel starts and adds one of its count of the client that it knows are holding a reference to the Excel application object. And whenever there is a My Excel app variable goes out of scope, then the main exits. So .NET garbage collection releases the object, and the Excel is notified that the console application no longer required. It is no longer required with the Excel. It is no longer required with the garbage collection of the Excel with the object. Which causes, or this causes the Excel count of clients holding a reference to the Excel application object to go to 0, and the Excel exits because no clients are using Excel anymore. So there is no client that is used. There is no, we can say, the objection that is used to make the current entries. And once you created an Office application by creating a new instance of the application object, so this application starts off without showing its window, which proves useful because you can automate the application. You can judge the application without distracting or instructing the user by popping up the window. Popping up means putting up the window, and if you do not, or if you need to show the application window, you can set the visible property of this application that is subject to true. And you can make this window visible and with the user control of the lifetime. With the Excel application, that makes the Excel application will not exit until the user quits the application. So whatever the application, whatever the variable we are holding up, that makes the Excel collection application object, that is garbage, collected out. And Word behaves differently. So in the same way, application also exits when the user quits the application, even if a variable is still holding an instance of Word application objects. This Word application object is still holding with an instance still holding with the application. And this listing sets out the status bar of the Excel to say hello world, and also opens a new blank workbook in Excel. So this new blank workbook will be known by the add method of the Excel workbook collections. And this will be going from this chapter to this chapter to this, with the Excel application object model that is given or that is used with the Excel events working with the Excel objects. So in the namespace, control application, class program, static bool, exit false. So there should be exit equals to false. That means there is no requirement, there is no static void main string ARGS. With the Excel application with the my Excel app, new Excel dot application. And this my Excel app dot visible, that is also set up to be true. And my Excel app dot status bar, that is also set up to be hello world. And with this workbook, we also add the system dot type dot message that makes the word main, that makes the string ARGS. And this string ARGS will be used by the visible equal to true, status bar, hello world. This my Excel app dot workbook dot add system dot type dot message. The system dot type dot message is also used with the variable status bar with the visible that comes out to be the true as with the status bar hello world. And this my Excel app sheet before click is also used, plus equals to new my Excel dot app events, whatever the app events we are taking out. That is a sheet before double click event handler. That is also considered as a my Excel app sheet before double click. So double click is also used with that event that will be available with the static bar that will be available before the double click. And while exit equals to false, so system.out or system.windows.form.application to events. The static void my Excel app sheet before double click object sheet Excel.range target reference bool cancel. So these are the two variables that will be used with the reference count. This will be used with the reference variable. Again, it is created with the reference count, reference variable, reference bool that will be cancelled out, that will be ruled out. Now next is exit equals to true. This listing illustrates how an automation executable can easily time back to the Office application, and a reference is also given to the system.windows.forms assembly that must be added to the project. Whatever the assembly we have, whatever the counselor we have, whatever the event handler we have, so we have to use that event that will be applied, that will be used with the Windows or system.windows.forms.application.do events. that is also called in a loop to follow the Excel application to run normally. Because these are doing normal, these are doing Excel with the normal application, and if this is double click with the cell, the Office will assign back to the event handler in the automation executable. Now, with this handler for the double click event, we set the static variable exit to the true, which will cause the loop calling. The loop will be called again and again with the do event by exit and the automation executable to exit. And you can also see the limit or lifetime management of the Excel in the action by running the automation executable. And that is also listing, and that is also displays in the listing and also exit the Excel without double clicking at all. So without double clicking, it will be exit. And Excel will continue to run in a hidden state, waiting for the console application to release exceptions to the Excel application object. So whatever the application object, whatever the console application we are using up, that will be used to hide the state, that will be used to hide or console the application. Next is creating a console application that automates server. This will be going out with the various console application object that automates server to create a table that's specified in the wiki text format, and this wiki is also or a kind of the online encyclopedia that users can contribute to. And for example, this is the URL. This is given www.officewiki.net for a wiki that documents the Office application, primarily intro of assembly, that is the PIA. And this use simple, easy to edit text files that any visitor to the wiki can edit without having to know HTML. So without knowing HTML, we can use we can go with the easy to edit text files. And these text files are also have a simple representation, have a complex element such as the tables, and our console application will read a simple text file that specifies the table in the wiki text format. It will then automate the word to create a quad table that matches the text file specification. Whatever the text file we have, whatever the data we have, so that will be used or that will be matching up with the text file application. And in the wiki text format, a table looks like that is specified by the text in this one. There's a property application, property autoload boolean, compile boolean, creator in 32, delete void, index in 32. These are the various property methods that will be shared with the add-ins object, that will be shared with the properties and the method that we have, that we are going to create, that we are going to make with the showing object, with the method object, with the word add-in objects. These methods will be created with the delete void. This method will be created with the index in 32, creator in 32, compile of the boolean type, autoload or the boolean type, application of the application type. Now see, this is the name application and return type is also same, that is also application. Again, there is a property autoload, name is autoload but the type is boolean. Again, there is a property compile, now there is a boolean. Now what is the meaning of boolean? That takes only two values, that is true or false. When created in 32, this takes integers value, then delete void, that is also use the void, that means there is a null value that is created out. Then index, delete is void means if any scenario occurs, if anything occurs for the deletion, then only it occurs, it will happen, otherwise there is a void, that means there is a null value. The next is the index, that is also of the int 32. These are the different properties that will be captured out. These are the different methods that will be used with the name, return type, property, method, index, int 32, int2, and so on. Just read out all these things. So this is the console application that automates the work. So this console application is also in the wiki format. These are the applications, these are the method again that will be used. There's install, there's the Boolean type, name, string type. A name is always a string that is a collection of characters. And parent is of the object type. Then path is also of the object type. So this is the wiki representation. The property or method, name, return type, property, application, autoload Boolean. That will be used, that will be available to delete the cookies, to delete the content that is also a void content. Then property index in32. The installed boolean, so whatever the boolean concept we are using now, so that will be installed with the name, with the string, and again there is a parent object, again there is a pass string. So when we use this Visual Studio 2005 to create a console application, and after launching through this Visual Studio, choose a new project from the file application. And this new project from the file application also shows a variety of the project types, whatever the variety of the project type we have, whatever the data that we have. So choose the Visual Studio C# node from the list of the project type that we have, and also chooses the Windows node from under the Visual C# node. And this is slightly counterfeitive or constitutive. So there is an Office node available too, but the code for the Office node only shows VSTO code behind document projects. And the VSTO Outlook add-in project, that will be a way that will be used with the how we can add and how we can use the VSTO code. And after you choose the Windows node, so you will see the window to the right of the template that will be used. What are the various console application we are using up? When you click on what are the ways by which we can create, or by which we can click on the OK button to create your application. How it is used with the word wiki, how it is used with the new project dialog, how it can be used with the different appearances, that the one shown in figure 2.1, that depends on the profile you are using now. And in this book, we assume that you are using Visual C# development setting profile, so that you can change your profile by choosing import and export settings from the tools menu. So these tools menu will be used to choose import and export settings from the drop-down menu also. Now next is, this is the new project with the C# Windows, create application, console application, class library, the web control library that is also used with the MT control console application. So this will be used with the OK button that creates a console application project for you and displays the current or content of the project in the Solution Explorer window that is shown, that shows how this will be shown or how this will be available in the Solution Explorer. By default, newly created console application references the assembly system.data, system.xml. And we also need to add a reference to the Word 2003 PIA. And we do this by right-clicking